Hello, everyone. My name is Russ Cohen. I am fortunate to serve as a volunteer for the Protect Us Kids organization. I would like to welcome you, for those who have not joined earlier today, to the inaugural Protect Us Kids virtual conference. And I'm also fortunate to introduce the speaker for our next session. Torkwase Kate Yaji. She has 16 years of experience in human trafficking, sexual and gender-based violence, and child protection at Nigeria's National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. As a key figure, she has been crucial in advancing efforts to combat trafficking and violence. She also counsels survivors and leads awareness initiatives, including her involvement in the Cyber Smart Project, which focuses on protecting children online. And she volunteers with nonprofits driven by her commitment to creating a safer and more inclusive environment. Also, just as a reminder, we encourage everyone during the presentation that if they do have questions, to use the Q&A feature to post those, and we'll bring those up at the end of the session. But with that, I'll bring up the slides and pass it over to you, Torkwase.
Thank you very much. Okay, we can start. I want to start my presentation by acknowledging the diverse background of audience here. My name, as Elias mentioned, is Torkwase Kate Yaji, Non-Central Coordinator, Protect Us Kids. I have expertise in human trafficking, GBV, child protection, over 16 years and 10 years field experiences. I have done a lot of intervention and rescue of victims of trafficking, VOT, and as well as potential victims of trafficking. Next slide, please. Technology plays a dual role in human trafficking, acting as both an enabler for traffickers and empowering tool for prevention, victim support, law enforcement. This paper explores this duality, examining the impact of digital platform communication tools and emerging technologies on the multifaceted challenges. Next slide, please. Good. Well, I would like to state here that human trafficking is a pervasive global issue affecting millions of individuals across borders. As the digital landscape evolves, so too does the nature of trafficking, with perpetrators increasing exploiting online platform for recruitment, exploitation, and control. Human trafficking here, it's not just a United States of American thing or a Nigerian thing. Here, the introduction is telling us that it is a global issue that needs all hands to be on deck. It is also described as a modern-day slavery, which is eating fast-growing criminal activities, second to drugs in terms of profitability. According to the International Labour Organization, over 40 million people are victims, including women and children. This includes sexual trafficking, forced labor, exploitation of minors. The rise of the internet and social media has created new avenues for traffickers. Victims are often groomed and recruited through seamless new calls, online interaction, making awareness and prevention increasingly challenging. Next slide, please. A nation faced or confronted with human trafficking suffers serious consequences ranging from economical, social, diplomatic, health problems, as well as posing a threat to national security. Why did I say that? I am going to narrow it down to the Nigerian context, then the North Central context. It's a threat to the national security because another trend of trafficking has come, which is the child soldiering. You agree with me that the insurgency in the Northeast has made children go into soldiering, which is child soldiering. A child is shooting an adult at that early stage. Then NAPTIP has identified that as a form of trafficking. When I say NAPTIP, I mean National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Is a short form. In the 80s, Nigeria has experienced an increase in the incidence of trafficking, especially affecting women and children. However, it was long before it was realized that this scourge was indeed a global problem of extensive and diverse dimension that needed to be addressed urgently due to its destructive and dehumanizing nature. Next slide, please, sorry. In 2013, the United Nations General Assembly designed July 30th as the World Day Against Human Trafficking. Okay, let me not bore you with that. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Global Report on Trafficking in Persons, the share of people trafficked within own countries has increasingly doubled to 58% of dictated survivors. So you can see this is a crisis, is no longer a crime. It is a call for all hands to be on deck. Next slide, please. You all know that human trafficking is a violation of human rights. And as we gather at this conference on human trafficking, it is imperative to explore innovative solutions that harness the power of technology to effectively combat this scourge. The rise of the internet and social media has created new avenues for traffickers. Victims are groomed and recruited through stalking, and we all know that stalking is a form of gender-based violence. Advanced technology has shown that we can use new innovations to curb this menace on the cyberspace. Next slide, please. Technology serves as a potent enabler in several critical aspects of anti-human trafficking efforts. Like I earlier mentioned, we can use technology to do a lot to prevent our children to falling prey to these inhuman acts. Firstly, digital platforms and social media provide avenue for raising awareness, empowering communities to recognize and report trafficking incidences swiftly through targeted messaging, education, technology enhance public awareness and equip individuals with the knowledge to identify signs of trafficking, thereby amplifying prevention methods. I will pause here a little to let you know that in December 2023, I was able to intercept a 15-year-old girl by name Ina, who was almost lured into sextortion on the internet. And also, I would narrow here, I will give you insights in the field work that I have done some interventions in 2 schools where a teacher was recruiting some primary school children into sextortion. They snapped pictures, nude pictures, sent to him. He told them that they are safe with him, and the children believed him. Only for a few days later, a parent came crying in the school that, whoa, my child keep asking for money, and she's just in primary 5 or 6. So she needs to know why the schools keep telling them, keep sending this little child to collect money, not knowing that a teacher in that school was extorting those children. So we were called upon to carry an investigation, which we did, and we discovered this particular teacher. He was arrested and handed over to the relevant authorities. Those children were safe, and they made sure he did not go scot-free. He was punished and jailed. So I would like to let you know that human trafficking is not far from us at all. Traffickers are not just every age range now is prone to trafficking. Why did I say that? Same thing in the field where I do a lot of intervention, babies are being sold out. So like I earlier said, it is not just a crime, but it's a crisis that we all have to stand up to fight against. Next slide, please. Advanced and big data can analyze how can we use technology to create an interventions on the internet. First, I feel that advanced algorithms and big data can analyze patterns online activities, helping us who are in the forefront to identify suspicious behavior and potential trafficking cases. I mentioned earlier that that young girl did not know that she was being stalked. Anytime she put up her picture, the person comments, and I became very suspicious until I handed over that particular page, the man's name, to the relevant authorities, and he was arrested. So she didn't even know. She thought it was a normal human being that was admiring her. Why did I say a normal human being? Because if you are normal, I don't think you would want to lure. That's a very, any human being. Let me not put an age difference. Any human being to being sold out or to being trafficked or to being exploited. By leveraging big data analytics and machine learning, organizations can refine their strategies, allocate resources more effectively, and streamline victims' identification process. Real-time data sharing and collaboration across borders enhance coordination among international stakeholders, facilitating a more cohesive response to this transnational crime. I will also add that artificial intelligence can enhance monitoring efforts on social media platforms, classified sites, flagging potential trafficking related content for further investigation. Blockchain, this technology can improve transparency in supply chains, making it harder for traffickers to exploit vulnerable population. Tools for reporting suspicious activities or providing support to potential victims can empower communities to enhance immediate response efforts. Next slide, please. We have the various tools. We can create awareness through our Facebook pages, Instagram pages, LinkedIn pages, and so on, so that these messages will be carried out. And there could be a YouTube channel that will be creating awareness, maybe, and bringing up experts to discuss issues of trafficking, where people subscribe, and even encourage young persons to subscribe to those channels, so that they'll be able to know and identify these traffickers and how they come to lure potential victims. Next slide, please. Okay, we've talked about this. By tracing product origin, blockchain technology presents unprecedented opportunities for enhancing transparency, accountability within supply chains, particularly in industry susceptible to labor exploitation. Labor exploitation is another recruitment. The internet, most children who go for, we have a form of trafficking in the North Central, which is labor exploitation, and recruitment is done online. These people say, okay, can you come and work in the cocoa farm, so period, and you'll be paid. But when they get there, the story is another thing. When they get there, they are being exploited. A very large cocoa farm in the Southwest. They go there, and at the end of the day, their wages are not paid. Some of them even die in the cocoa farm. We have done a lot of interventions on that. Next slide, please. However, while technology offers immense promise in combating human trafficking, it is crucial to acknowledge its inherent challenges and limitations. Issues such as digital literacy gap, data privacy concern, and the potential for technology misuse underscores the need for thoughtful regulation, ethical guidelines, and inclusive approaches that prioritize human rights and dignity. In this part of the world, our security agencies equipped enough to track the activities of traffickers online. Yes, Nigerian government is doing a lot on combating this inhuman act. We're doing a lot, and if you had read the TIP reports for 2024, Nigeria is under the second tier, of which I shared it with Verda some months ago. So I think Nigeria is doing a lot, but we still need to do a lot. Next slide, please. Well, I have outlined some intervention strategies, which include collaboration. Government, tech companies, NGOs must work together to develop effective strategies. Initiatives like the Global Initiative to Fight Human Trafficking, as emphasized by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime as a collaborative approach. Public awareness. Awareness is not enough. We all have to continue creating awareness about human trafficking in the digital space, utilizing digital platforms to create awareness, as earlier mentioned, education about the signs of trafficking and how to report, the reporting processes needs to be put in place. Training and resources, providing trainings on digital tools, trafficking indicators can enhance capacity. Our humble calling. As we embark on this collective endeavor to eradicate human trafficking, let us harness this transformative power of technology responsibly and collaboratively by fostering innovations, sharing best practices, and cultivating partnership across sectors. We can forge a future where every individual enjoys freedom, dignity, and justice, free from the shackles of exploitation and abuse. Together, let us reaffirm our commitment to leveraging technology as a force for good in the fight against human trafficking, striving towards a world where our children, human rights are upheld and justice prevail for all. Next slide, please. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation and the content. Certainly, I have additional questions that I probably could ask, but since I was sharing my screen, were there any questions that came in on the Q&A?
Okay.
No, there wasn't.
Yes.
So I actually have a question that I'd like to bring up. Where,
okay,
if a minor, where do they go first? If they're not, like, where should they go first? Who can they contact first? If they don't want to go to their parents, for example, who can they contact, or who should they be directed to contact?
They are directed to the law enforcement or non-governmental. But in the Nigerian context, the law enforcement agency, which is NAPTIP, is on the forefront. Let me tell you what the organization is: a one-stop agency. They are the only prosecution agencies on trafficking in Nigeria. So even if the child is being rescued, first place the child should be taken is in the NAPTIP shelter for further investigation, further counseling, and further reunification, which, if the child does not want to go back to her parents, they choose another foster care alternative, which, according to the Save the Children International, foster care is better within the family circle. Let me digress a little. Yesterday, we had an issue of child abuse. A 5-year-old was being physically abused by her stepfather. And this child was brought to the shelter. In fact, I was called. We rescued this child, brought to the shelter, took care of her, and then the man was invited, he's locked up. The mother too was invited, which she is in the counseling unit, to discuss why would she allow her child be maltreated by a man she's married to. Then the grandmother, we now started discussing about unification. The grandmother now steps in, that I will take care of this child. I went for a follow-up today. The child went to school. I went to check. The agency, through the International Organization on Migration, brought some starter kits for her, which we handed over to the grandparents. So here in Nigeria, we're advocating that foster care should be within the family. But if there's no family member that is willing to adopt this child, then this child goes back to the shelter, the NAPTIP shelter, which Through some partners and collaboration, this child can be able to go back to school, get livelihood. I hope I've answered your question.
You did, and then some. So thank you so much.
Okay.
So if there are no other questions that have come in, we want to thank you for this information. It was very informative, and we appreciate you participating in the inaugural event today. And we thank everyone for their time. And the next session will start at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Have a good day.